It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be
forward.
like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Hi, my name is Lishay Carlsa. I am an editor for Street Talk TV.
My name is Kutlwano Nundabula. I'm 30-year-old. I stay in Khayelitsha and I work for Project 90 under the ULIT initiative.
My name is Wandile. I also live in Khayelitsha. I'm 32 years old. I'm the facilitator also for Project 90 under the ULIT initiative.
My name is Atengo Sipaba. I'm also based in Khayelitsha. I work for Project 90 by 2030 as a ULIT initiative coordinator.
Do you guys think people in townships understand the seriousness of environmental issues? Like, especially given the time that now it's COVID-19 and there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration, like being sanitary. Do you think people are being sanitary enough?
On my side, I can say that people in our communities, they don't actually understand and value our environment. As in, like in most of places, like around townships, you would find people like not wearing their mask, like in relation to like this COVID-19 issues. Some are like using like public space like for pollution. You can like even mostly in our communities in like townships or rural urban fringes, you can actually find people like throwing stuff around. They don't even like do things like recycling. So I don't think like they do value the environment as much as we should. And that actually leads into most of people around townships getting sick with things like TB, which are actually environmentally related as well. So on my side, I can say that people under the environment, I don't think they do value or like do understand the importance of like protecting our environment.
I think probably on my side, what I've been quite noticing lately also, especially during this time of the COVID, and yeah, people don't take it really seriously, and in terms of that, you can see people a lot in taverns, there's still a lot of people, there's still no one wearing a mask, even like in small spaces that to sit in, whether it's a family gathering or it's just sitting with friends, there's no hand sanitizers, there's no mask that people are wearing, but then in reality is that within the environmental issues, people don't take it really seriously, during this time. And yeah, and there's no one like wearing mask, and people are still like working at night and still in spaces, there's still nothing, even going to our township malls, it's being not taken that seriously, even in malls where we're staying in, and even government places, like we can see like in the Home Affairs in Khayelitsha or at Sasa Place in Khayelitsha, social development, you can see people are packed, but then there's not that 1.5 meter distance between them.
From my side, just to add a little bit on that. So it's a matter of an answer and a question as well, because I'm thinking that is the education part of this really reach, the people in the townships. Because remember, if you're using TV to educate people about environment and COVID, you understand when we are living in the informal settlements of Khayelitsha, no, not everyone have TV. If you're using social media to reach the people, not all of us have these devices, to kind of get that education. Are the people from the health department and the environment department going to the township, to kind of like go in, driving by the townships and educating people about the importance of, the environment, and also linking it with the health part of the COVID-19. So it's also a matter of education. Does it reach the people? Does the people get educated, in order to comply to this regulation, and also with everything dealing with the environment, and also, with the health part of the COVID-19.
Do you guys think that the government or the media attach enough importance to this issue?
From my side, I think, yes, they do try. But my question is that if you're using, these big words, the jargon words, it's always been my problem that when you're dealing with people, some of those people never even made it to high school level of, education. Now, if you're telling those people who are using the jargon words, instead of, trying to decode those words or trying to explain those words in their languages so that they can understand and comply. Because if you're using big words in Kailicha, in the informal settlements, or in generally, just in Kailicha, remember you're dealing with people that they never made it to high school, they never even made it to the university. Imagine my grandma, you're telling my grandma about these big words, on TV, or, you come to my place driving by, and then you put your banners and everything. You teach people about the environment and COVID and still using these words. Do you think that granny would understand, what are you talking about? She will be there just to listen, and she'll go home and explain nothing to us. So it's a matter of also, the content that you're using in terms of educating people.
What is most like on social media are not things which are actually helpful to us as like human beings, but what is there is just things for fun, which to entertain people. It is most like entertainment, which like our media is focusing on than like the environmental themes. So I think like the social media and like the newspapers and everything, they are not actually focusing much on like environmental issues and health issues. The most things that which are actually focusing on are things which they are getting like profits out of them, like entertainment, which like is not for our health benefits. That is what I'm actually concerned about.
So I was just wanting to ask you guys, how do you get youth involved and show that they care about like the environment, and like how you get them to bring about change?
For me, it's a matter of, you don't want to scare them, but you want to create a content that they will relate to. You want to be at a level that they will understand the impacts. Because remember, we're living in the like disadvantaged communities. We see these plastics, we see this dirt, but we don't know how electricity comes. We just know that it comes from the box at home where we put the meters and everything, but there's so much, to that. They don't know how it's generated. But if we sit in a round table with the people, then we create a content that they will understand. We be at the point, where we will decode everything, every word. We'll sit them down, we create infographics so that they see the processes and everything. Because it has always been a matter of the government coming and just saying to the people. How about the government come to the people, and try to understand what they know already, and then maybe add to what they don't know? Because the thing is, if we now gonna make them scared, people always want to challenge. There are people that they know about the environment in the township. They will tell the other guys. The guys don't mind them. They just want you to get scared. But if we come to the communities, sit them down, in a round table, kind of bring what content do you want, in terms of, for us to educate them.
I know in like areas like you were saying, in townships and communities and stuff, we all know, like in my area especially, I'm from Elsie, there's a site where it's like, it's like an empty site. It's like just field, but like people litter. They would just take their black bags and then they will just throw it out in the field, which is also like, it's harmful to the environment.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So yeah, basically that was the question. Like, how do you get people aware and scared enough?
I think one, it always comes with the education part. Education part in terms of that, if people are throwing dirt in a certain spot, what are the consequences of that? For example, you're throwing a litter there will be rodents, there will be rats, there will be all of that. And we know that rodents and rats are not quite good for people. They can carry a lot of harmful diseases within them and all of that, and also with all, into that germs and all of that. So I think it's more around teaching people the consequences of that, that you will get sick. If you keep on throwing stuff here, you will get sick. You will still get rodents that come into your houses, they eat up your food and all of that. So those are one of the consequences of that, of throwing that. So it's more around educating people about that, the harmfulness of throwing stuff around that, and also more keeping on creating these awarenesses within the spaces. Let's take that space, for example, clean that space up, and use that space for something else, whether it's a soccer field that we can play soccer in, into that. We clean those spaces up, not to just leave them like that. because people, they're just seeing the spaces that they quite free. There's nothing happening in that space. Okay, let's just throw there, or let's just put up some shacks there in that space, because that space is not being used. It's been sitting there for years, 13 years or whatever, 13 months that it's been there. And then people are just seeing free spaces. But then if we change those spaces, whether it can be a playground for kids where they can go and play safely into that space, so those things, we're creating also an awareness of that, within people, making them aware about these issues of that, and I know that, climate change is quite especially township, people are not quite aware about it much, because even in our schools, we still don't have the climate education, You only taught in geography, you only taught about the weather, the evaporation, and then it's mainly, that's it. You come out with that, but then you're not quite taught about the broader aspect of it, into that. How can you solve it? What can you do to stop that from happening? You are being, you see all this, you taught about drought, but then you are not taught about what are the kind of things that are causing drought, into that. People they open up water, they open up taps. You can see there would be taps running up, but there's car wash that are putting taps for the whole day, running water, and then we complain as the country that we don't have water. We in day zero, because people, you don't educate them about the consequences of that, and also teaching them people the importance of that saving water.
On my side, I think whenever you want to scare someone, use something on the status quo. By saying something on a status quo, a current issue, because mostly of what is actually said about the environment, it is always about the future. Like it would be in day zero, like in future, this can happen in future if ever we don't take care of our environment. But if ever like we can use the current issues, which is the things which are actually happening on a status quo to like scare people about the environment, I think people can start acting like immediately. Like things like that would actually be things of water. Now we are actually becoming drought in water now. Things like electricity. You are on load shedding now. But if ever you are telling people about that, I think people are going to become scared and more aware, because we are telling them about current issues than things that can happen in future. And I think that what can also be done is in schools, we can enforce like policies which teach people, regardless of the learning area that you're actually doing, but environmental education should be done in all like learners in school, even if you are doing maths and physics, even if you are doing accounting, even if you are doing agriculture, but environmental things must be like educated to everyone, so that in our education system, everyone knows and are aware about the possible consequences of anyone's actions. I think that can be a possible solution.
So my dream is for a lot of youngsters to be educated on environmental issues.
My dream is to see the young people, leading in strategic positions of this country, because yes, it's us that are going to make policies and also decisions that will, even be lived by us in the future than the people that are in the government at the moment, because they are old.
My dream is to build young climate-informed leaders and activists.
My dream is to actually see my community valuing the power of education, and not just being educated for just being educated, being able to like plan it back into our community.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.